On April 27, 2025, Baltimore became the epicenter of youth and high school football. The National College Exposure Camp, the largest camp in the South, hosted by under-recruited athletes, landed at Morgan State, lighting up the DMV. 200-plus athletes, middle school and high school talent, all chasing one thing, exposure. Before cleats hit turf, the work began. Derek Tatum led a powerhouse recruiting seminar with college coaches, pros, and industry vets. This wasn't just a camp, it was a launch pad. A shot at scholarships, a shot at Top Gun in Naples, Florida, and this, just the beginning.
9 o'clock. So we may start a little earlier, which is a plus because that gives us more time for Q&A. And you want to have the Q&A. I'm going to come up in a minute. We're going to have some, I've got a fun little activity we're going to do to start us off. As a matter of fact, in the meantime, who would consider themselves the fastest person in here? Who think they can beat me in a race? Okay. I got it. Let me see your hand. Wait. Oh, I got some parents too. You don't want us to come see about me? Okay, all right. I'm gonna call you up. I'm gonna see if that can really happen. We'll do that momentarily. I want you to do this, moms, dads, loved ones, even athletes. I want you to start thinking about some questions regarding recruiting. And let me give you some help. How do I get into college? How do I go to college? A full ride on a football scholarship. Start asking those questions. What do I need to do now to prepare? I'm giving you a hint. Pull out your phones. A note taker is a history maker. All right? So start formulating those questions because I want you to ask those questions for our guests. I want you to ask those questions for us. We know what the heck we're doing. Let me show you this little side here. That number is actually going up to 75 million since we started. Now, mind you, that's if you know, like me in finance, that's basically the GDP for most countries, smaller countries, third world countries, actually more than that. So we have our athletes, and some of them have never actually had any type of offers at all. They have gotten over $75 million worth of college scholarships since we started. You can clap on that. That's a good look. Yeah. Especially if you're a mom and dad like me. I got a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old, and I'm like, I'm not paying for college. I do have their investment account set up. I'm like, hey, you want a car? You go get it yourself. But we start those things up and we start them early. So I want you to start writing your questions down. There's no such thing as a dumb question. You can even ask us why the sky is blue. If we don't know the answer, we'll point you in the right direction. All right? So start formulating those questions in your head. Write them down. I want you to be prepared to ask those questions, whether you're a student, an athlete, a parent, a mom, a coach, whatever the case may be. We're excited that you're here, and we're excited that we're moving on time. We're moving. This is a picture of life. I don't care how skilled, how talented, how good looking, if you don't think you're better looking than me, I'm just kidding. No, I don't care how skilled, how talented you may be. I don't care what you look like, who your parents may be. It's about advantage. And in life, most people will start here. And I'm talking specifically about football. 1.1 million high school athletes are coming out this year. But only 7% of them get college scholarships. And believe it or not, you can be more talented than them. But if you start at 0 and I start at 80, if we're doing a 100-yard race, who's going to win? Talk to me. This is dialogue. Who's going to win? Why am I going to win?
Game.
All right, because look, it's part of the game. I have an advantage.
Get in the habit, man, of being bold and sit in the front of the classroom. We gotta get in the habit of that, y'all. Hey, quick story about somebody being bold. So yesterday I'm at a game. Some of y'all saw me at the game, and ain't none of y'all said a word to me. All right, one guy whose son here, who's already an offer kid, already got offers, already known nationally, came to me humbly and said, I want to meet you, I want to talk to you, I want to be a part of your program. Now, he's here today. So what I'm saying is, listen, y'all young men, when you see somebody, anybody of influence, go introduce yourself to that person. That's how I'm here right now. Like Parham says, a guy named Curtis Blackwell runs Sound Mind, Sound Body. It's the biggest football camp in the country. I'm going on the college bus tour there May 27th. I take 40 kids up there. This is where most of my kids get offers at. But he was the owner of the camp. And I seen him about 15 years ago, and I just literally walked up to him out of nowhere and just said, hey, I'm Derek Taylor, man. You know, I want to meet you. And since then, we've been friends. He's been mentoring me since then. But what if I would have been too prideful and not meet him? He said, well, Derek, I said, I want to work with you. He said, well, Derek, everybody want to work with me. But he didn't say it cocky, he said it just as humble. He said, well, okay, Derek, fly up here on your own dime and coach at my camp for free. And then we'll talk about what we're going to do after that. I'm like, man, I'm Derek Taylor. No. What are you talking about? I ain't doing that. But then I thought about it. I said, let me humble myself. So I flew up there on my own dime. And since then, I met him. Since then, my business has took off. All right? So y'all young men, y'all got to humble yourselves. And when you see somebody of influence, anywhere you at, go introduce yourself to them. Training all over the DMV area. And I want to introduce him to y'all before he come up. I need 3 claps. Y'all ready? Go. There, let's go, bro. Let's go. Here we go. Appreciate it.
I had to look at my watch. Me and my kids wake up early, so I had to make sure it was still morning time. Thank you for the opportunity. Basically, I just want to talk to everybody quickly, mainly in regards to nutrition, okay? I come from a family, the NFL wrote an article on my family, said we are the most athletic family in America. My little brother got drafted by the Eagles a couple years ago and is now with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I played professional baseball and then went back to college and got into camp with the New York Giants. Okay, so I prize myself as being the most athletic in the family. Also had a little brother that got drafted, so if you look at my page, you can see more about my family and just exactly what it is that I do in regards to speed and performance explosion. I mainly want to talk about nutrition, okay? So it's 8 of us in my family, 2 of us suffer from diabetes, and I've seen exactly the correlation from processed foods, boxed foods, microwave foods, foods that are fried, and how it affects our health, how it affects our respiratory system, how it affects our muscular endurance when it's time to perform at that elite level consistently. It's not just about performing at a high level, it's about performing at a high level consistent, and we call that high performance. All right, so if you can't be who you are in the 4th quarter, the same person you were in the 1st quarter, then obviously you're really no good, and at that point, the greats are going to separate themselves from the good. So, with my kids, real quick, Kobe, Cannon, and Mason, stand up for me real quick. These are my kids. Mason is 11, Cannon, the baby in the middle, is 7. Kobe just turned 10. And they are in every category. They're in the top, guys, sit down. They're in the top percentage of height, weight, and just when it comes to performance and even academics. The reason for that is because at a certain point in time in their life, I realized, hey, let's feed them the most essential amino acids, the most essential vitamins and minerals that they need at a certain window in their cellular growth period to maximize their growth. And now that we see, we did a pretty good job of that.
Grew up here in Baltimore County, and I went to Archbishop Curley High School, and just want to talk to you guys a little about how we've been saying today, you know, how education's been important and how that can actually help you guys. You know, I was more of a lacrosse guy coming out of high school, and then, you know, I also love football, and me and my parents thought it was the best opportunity for me, you know, to pursue football and further my career. And how people have been talking about all today is, you know, GPA is important. And, you know, coming out of high school, I had a high GPA, a 4.3 GPA, and that allowed me, you know, opportunities to...
Oh, say it again.
You know, so that GPA, you know, opened doors for me that, you know, some people, you know, had a leg up on me. You know, I was athletic as them. I just didn't get the exposure. You know, I went to Archbishop Curley High School. We were, you know, okay, but couldn't compete with, you know, some other schools in the area. You know, also I was kind of behind on the curve with, you know, recruiting, as, you know, talking to coaches and everything. So that GPA allowed me to open doors, and that used me to get to Cornell. So when I got to Cornell, you know, it was very different. You know, it was very hard academically, and I was prepared for that, but it took me a little bit. It took me about 1-2 years to get the hang of that, and also I had to deal with COVID. But the one thing that I focused on was my schooling, and also basically my drive outside of the classroom and outside of the football field, because that's one of the main things people don't tell you about is what you do when when your coach is not looking, or when your professors are not talking to you. And my last 2 years at Cornell, ended up getting second team All Ivy at cornerback, and then that even propelled me to more of a stage of professional teams and other colleges even probably going to enter the portal looking at me. And then also with the COVID year, that gave us a lot of people another year to further showcase their talents. And I actually decided to take a semester off and use my Cornell degree, and I ended up getting an internship with a real estate company to use my degree just to further myself. As we heard before, football ends at some time, so I just wanted to secure that option after. And then after that, I came back to Cornell for my last year, and then used that, ended up getting first team All Ivy, so just got another leg up on that, and then graduated.
Now you what I call a rare type of person. I mean, Cornell 4.3, graduated from Cornell, one of the best universities in the country. If you could look back at yourself, I know your path still real. At 15, what would you tell yourself to be better than where you're at right now? Better.
I would have to say that, like I said before, the work you put in outside when people are looking, I think I could have put more work into, the game of football. I was more so of, I'm an athlete, I'm gonna go out there and play. But getting to college, I realized, you gotta do drills outside, I gotta work on my back pedal, maybe my T-step is not forward enough. And I didn't really get that until, junior year of college, when I started getting the accolades. Because before then, I was just, playing based off of, pure instincts and skill, and, I'm taller than most people. But I think if I can go back, I would tell my younger self that, hey, instead of, going to a mall with my friends maybe this weekend, maybe in the morning, let me tell my friends, hey, let's go, let's go to the field, get some work in. Let's go to the field, get our conditioning better. Or just be more of a student of the game. I didn't really, also another thing, I didn't really, understand football. Does that make sense? I knew what cover 3 was, but I didn't know what cover 3. I got to do third, I got to help over here. I think just be more of a student of the game early would have pushed me further into that, but I think that's the most important thing.
Cool.
I probably would just tell myself just to think long term on my decisions. I mean, I wasn't a knucklehead, I wasn't the worst kid, but I feel like me looking through you guys, I see a lot of I could tell in your guys' eyes, you guys are really determined and stuff, and I kind of was distracted by things that really didn't matter. So I just would tell my younger self to stay the course. I mean, because you right now at 15, I'm not going to say you can't change, but the direction you are right now is good to put your best foot forward now. Because to be quite frankly, at 15, that's what sophomore, ninth grade, 10th grade is really, that predicates 11th grade and 12th grade. So if your 10th grade year grade-wise is horrible, that was my 10th grade year, it's not going to matter. 11th and 12th, you got to set the principle early. So that was my thing, man. Put your best foot forward early, because it's hard to be scraping to get back when you can just put your best foot forward and follow up and be consistent.
1, utilize the game of football to help secure and educate you. Right? Coach said it. This is a business.
Can you say that again?
I will. Use the game of football to secure your son in education, because that's what will help him put himself in position to be successful thereafter. This is a business. If your body breaks down, they will get another piece. Boom, bang, boom, boom. Put another one right in. Right? If he falters emotionally, physically, in any way, it doesn't even have to be break down. Everybody saw it, right? Jalen Hurts is a tremendous young man, a tremendous athlete. He faltered just a little, and they replaced him at Alabama with Tua. Because they felt like that night Tua was going to give us the best chance to win. Now, what gets lost in that is how that young man handled it. You saw in the aftermath of the interviews, he said, man, I'm elated. We just won a championship. I knew he was going to go do his thing. I was happy for him. He didn't sulk, didn't run back to the locker room. And those are the attributes that cannot be measured on the board. And they're the ones that you are also responsible for.